Hello, good morning. Myself Darshana Patel from VPMP Polytechnic. My subject name is Computer and Network Security, subject code 3350704. Unit number 1, Introduction and Security Threats. Topic name, Threats to Security. The objective of today's learning is to understanding various security terms, recent trends in computer security, and to describing various types of threats to security. Now, threats to security means in computer security, a threat is a possible danger that might exploit a vulnerability to break security and therefore cause possible harm. Now, we have to discuss these topics, threats to security, in that virus and worms, intruders, insiders, criminal organizations, terrorists, and information warfare. Now first, virus. Now what do you mean by the virus? A computer virus, it attaches itself to a program or file and enabling it to spread from one computer to another computer. It leaves its infection as it travels, like a human virus. Okay. Virus is a one kind of malware, malicious software that can spread from one computer to another computer, but it requires a human action for spreading. Almost all viruses are attached to an executable file, which means virus may exist on your computer, but it actually cannot infect your computer unless you run or unless you open the malicious program. So it is important to note that a virus cannot be spread without a human action, like opening the infected file or running an infected file. Okay. For example, email virus. A file which is attached as an email attachment that maybe contain a virus and it can spread in the form of email attachment file. So that is an example of virus. Okay. So virus requires a human action for spreading, and it is generally in the form of word attachment or executable file as an attachment, and it can start spreading from one computer to another computer when the human action are done. Next, worms. Worm is similar to a virus by design and is considered to be a subclass of a virus. Worms spread from computer to computer, but unlike a virus, worms can spread without any human action. Means worms can be self-replicated. Okay. A worm consumes too much of system memory. Due to the replicating nature of worms, worm consumes more system memory, and worms can spread very fast, very quickly because of its self-replication nature. Okay, so you may consider worm is a standalone program, or say worm is a malware which can replicate itself and spread through network. Okay. The example of worms is to send a copy of itself to everyone listed in your email address book, and then from email address book to recipient's email address book to recipient's email address book, such that worms can replicate very speedily, and it consumes more and more system memory due to its replicating nature. It do not require any human action for replicating, for spreading. So its spreading is very fast, very rapidly. Now, difference between virus and worms. The first, based on the human action for propagating, the first difference between virus and worms is that virus cannot spread without a human action, whereas worms can spread without any human action. Virus consumes less system memory than worms. Due to the replicating nature of worms, worm consumes more system memory. Virus attach itself to operating system or the programs, whereas worms do not attach itself to operating system. Virus requires a human action for spreading. So the spreading of virus is quite slowly, whereas worms can spread by itself. So worms can spread much more quickly. For example, SQL Slammer worm, it spreads 75,000 victims within only a 10 minutes of time. Another example of virus, as an email attachment, virus infect through email. Example of worm is to send a copy of itself to everyone listed in your email address book. Now next term, that is again a threat to security, is an intruder. Now intruder is a threat to security, and it's often referred as hacker or say cracker. An intruder can be classified into 3 classes: masquerader, misfisher, and clandestine user. Now first, masquerader means an outsider, an individual who is not an authorized to use the computer and who break the system's access control to make a use of legal user's account. Means we are considering an outsider as an individual who is not authorized person within an organization and who breaks the organization system security. That fellow can be categorized within the classes of intruder, say masquerader. Now next, misfisher. That means insider, a legal user who access data, program, or resources for which such access is not authorized, or who is authorized for such access but misuse his or her privileges. Means misfisher is unlike an insider, an individual who is an insider within an organization or within a company and who has either access within a system's access control or who have a not authorized of system access control. So such kind of individual can be in the category of misfisher. Now next, clandestine user, the individual who may be of insider or may be of outsider. Okay, an individual who take supervisory control of the system and use this control to suppress audit collection is considered in the term of clandestine user. Such kind of individual, they exploit bugs in privileged programs and in fact the security. So the intruder are the individual who can create a intrusion and break the system security. It may be of either outsider, either insider or outsider or insider person within an organization. And the example of intrusions that can be spread by the intruders are like guessing and cracking passwords, copying a database containing the credit card numbers. Okay? So there are various kind of intrusions that is done by the intruders. Now next, insider. Again, the next term to the threats to security is insider. It is it is defined as a malicious insider threat to an organization. is a current or former employee, contractor, or other business partner who has or had authorized access to an organization's network, system, or data. That means it is an insider who have a legal access to the organizational network or say the organizational resources and who can misuse his privilege for doing some harm to the security is considered within the insider term. Insider attacks are much more difficult to detect and prevent. Why? Because an intruder or say attacker, it is an employee within the organization itself. It is an entity which belongs to organizations. So such kind of attacks are very difficult to detect. Employees already have access and knowledge about the structure and content of corporate database. By using this knowledge, he or her can misuse the privilege. The individual can misuse the privilege and involve in the malicious activity. Now, next term, terrorist. The terrorists use cyberspace to cause uncertainty. They, for their own reason, like they're struggling against state authorities and governments, and use all available means to achieve their own aim. Cyber attacks occurs in two of the forms. One used to attack the data and other focus on the control system. The attacks focus on the control system are used to disable or manipulate the physical infrastructure. Then the next term, information warfare or say information war. So it can be defined as a following ways. So cyber terrorism is sometimes referred to as an electronic terrorism or information war. Our next term, avenue of attack. There are mostly two reasons for a computer system attack. First, specifically targeted by the attacker, and second, opportunistic target. Now first, for specific target, the attackers are not interested in getting hardware and software of the organization, but they are doing the attack for another reason, like some political reason. For example, a person of one country attack a system of another government country. In that, first attack is decided and then attacker knows the hardware and software of that organization. It is more difficult and take more times. Now second, opportunistic target. Suppose an organization has some vulnerable important software. The attackers are not targeting the organization, but simply looking for an organization and collect information. For example, an attacker may want to collect credit card or any other personal information. So such kind of attack, they are considered for the reasons of such kind of attack are considered for opportunistic target. Now next, steps in attack. There are generally, not specific, but generally 4 steps in doing attack. First, information gathering, also known as the profiling. Second, determination of target system, also known as the actual scanning. Then find vulnerability and suitable tools. And fourth, attack to the target system. Now, first step, information gathering, which also known as the profiling procedure. Here the attacker gathers maximum amount of information about the organization as possible. For that, they study organization's website, their post, their group discussions, and so on. The type of information that the attacker wants includes like IP address, phone numbers, name of the individuals, and network information. This type of information gathering is also known as a profiling. To collect data, to collect the information, the common tool is, as usual, Google. So in first step, the information is gathered and some kind of there's raw material is profiled. Then second step, determination of target system. That means now this step move from the profiling to the actual scanning. That can be done through like that, sending the ping utility. Send the ping request to the target machine. And if the machine responds, that means it is reachable. So ping utility can also be used by the attacker for checking the reachability of the target system. Then another way is to perform the port scan. The port scanning will help to identify which ports are open and which services may be running on the target machine. It also determines, the attacker can also determine the operating system that is running on the target machine, and also determine the specific application that run on the target machine. Okay. Now, after that, the attacker have a list of possible target machine, the operating system running on that machine, specific application and specific services. So this step provides the actual scanning of information and targeting the system. Now the third step, find the vulnerability and suitable tools. Now the attacker gathering all the information. Now the attacker finds the vulnerability, the weakness of gathered information. Then the attacker decide which tool is used based on the operating system and services. There are a number of vulnerable tools, tools available for doing the attack. Some website provide the information of vulnerable of specific application program and operating system. So based on that, find the vulnerability and suitable tools. And then the fourth step, attack to the target system. After finding all the possible vulnerability and suitable tool, the attackers now plan to attack. There are various types of attack: phishing, DOS attack, DDoS attack. So the attacker can now do the attack. So these are the generalized steps involved in attack. Thank you.